I'm restarting this recording because I just had no idea how big a 10-minute recording is on the phone, so hopefully it's not too big. Anyways, we got made a nice little laundry room space, nice little pantry space. They can do whatever they want with it as far as shelving. That was a nice china cabinet we got at Unfinished Furniture that Eduardo, the painter, was nice enough to stain up. These guys that are getting the house are getting it, and that's fine. Somebody's going to get to enjoy it. It's a beautiful piece. Again, Melinda was always looking to modify things. I don't even remember what she wanted to do here, but something about taking those hangers out and doing something that was more particular for the type of things she wanted to put in there. I honestly don't remember. She always had an idea to modify virtually everything. And the piece de resistance, I mean the kitchen. I'm going to cut the lights on here because I didn't think about it. That didn't help much since it's daytime. But I think it really came out very nice. Dad came a few months after Melinda passed and helped me knock out the rest of the cabinets and put in the new ones and do some painting and all, and had the carpenter come after the fact and put all the crown and the light rail up on the bottom, and had some very nice tile selected, and I had to pick on my own. I was so nervous about because what do I know about matching stuff, but you know, it all worked out. It looks really nice. And I put in the glass, which was like the last thing I did while people were looking at the house. But, you know, it's pretty. And not too many people in this area are going to have a kitchen like this, including the granite. We were looking at some budget options. It was granite, but granite tiles that you could put in yourself. And after Melinda passed and I got the insurance money, I said, screw it. And I spent about 50% more than it would have cost to do it yourself, and got a real slabs of granite in a pattern I think works well for the kitchen, and I think Melinda would like. This flooring, we bought it before anything was touched on the kitchen. She saw it on sale one time and said she thought it would be beautiful in here, and so we bought it, and it wound up in storage in the back bedroom for a good year or two, and kept moving it around as we were doing other projects in the house because we weren't ready to start on something as big as a kitchen. But she saw it on sale and figured better get it rather than lose it later. But anyways, it came out super nice. Really proud of that. I didn't necessarily do all the work, but between Dad and I, we did a ton. And I put all these lights in myself, very unsure of what I was doing, but we tried to make something that evenly cast some lights no matter where you were standing. And then the last thing, here's another one of the exterior doors we put in, but the window is the scariest damn thing that I've ever done, because the day I tore out the brick and all the stuff that went with it, there was an 8-foot hole in the house, and I couldn't get the new header in because the top was sagging just maybe an eighth of an inch or a quarter. I just could not get that thing in there, so I wound up having to go get a jack post to actually crank the roof up just a hair, enough so I could get that stupid header in there so we could close the house back up with some plywood, because oh my God, people can just walk into our house. And it's funny in retrospect. It was scary. But I mean, this was 2 little windows like in the bedroom, and with the paint job they did on it, it's beautifully trimmed out. You get a better angle. You can't really with the light that's coming in here. But it's a big, beautiful picture window. Oh, and that reminds me, I forgot to say, when I was in the master bedroom, that one little 4 by 4 foot window, and I thought this was a terrific idea of hers, is that when we ever got around to putting in a fence, She wanted to replace that window with a French door, and he could walk right out to the backyard, and it would look beautiful. But you know, stuff changes. So anyways, should probably finish this off by saying one of the first successful projects we did is drywalled in the garage, which wasn't completely out. The exterior walls was nothing but open studs, and then we put in this floor, which is scary as hell, because I was afraid of, you know, once and done, you screw it up and you start all over. But I had to clean the concrete and paint down this epoxy with some speckles. And she spent a lot of time trying to figure out the right mix of speckles, because the mixes they had didn't quite give her the color she wanted. So we wound up buying extra bags of stuff, bought a cheap blender that she ran it through because the chunks were too big for her taste. And by God, she made the look that she wanted. I think that's pretty awesome. I mean, I didn't need to have that level of pickiness over what it looked like. I mean, it looks nice. It's a floor. But it was important to her to get it just the way she had it in her head, and I think that's wonderful, because I could never really picture things ahead of time. I just kind of have to do it and say, oh, well, glad that worked out the way it should have. Anyways, there's all these extra doors and stuff from the kitchen that we bought. It was cabinets were on liquidation, and they told us that there would be plenty, and then she ordered the first round of cabinets, and turns out they didn't, so wound up having to buy a lot of extra doors and cabinets, which were cheap, but I had to Frankenstein some of those together to get the sizes that she wanted, but we made it all happen. It's just about the end of the run. This is kind of weird, saying goodbye to the house for the last time. It's such a long journey, and certainly full of sadness with Melinda gone, but there are a lot of good memories here with her, and she had a fantastic eye for making things happen, making things better. And you know, I know this kitchen's probably not the way she pictured it, because Dad and I futzed with the design from what Melinda and I had laid out, because this just worked better. You know, it's one thing to draw it out; it's another thing to be walking in that space and going, this really needs to be, you know, the bar is not as long as it was, but it's also wider than we had it, because we had 12-inch cabinets, uppers on one side. But, you know, she and I would probably have reached the same conclusion once we started putting things in. There might have been more yelling, but that's okay. That's just the nature of a stressful project. Two people that are heavily invested in the outcome. But I'm really pleased with how it came out, and I hope these people will enjoy the house. There's always something to do to houses, but I don't think they'll have to do anything to this for a very long time. I know Melinda has seen all this. She can be wherever she wants now, but I wanted to record this for me, because in 20 years, God knows, I remember all the things she wanted to do. She said I never listened, but I heard everything. I just was afraid of affording everything. But in 20 years, I want to make sure that I remember, because I might forget. Things get fuzzy when you don't keep running them over in your head. So goodbye, house. You served us well. I'm moving on to new adventures. And that's it. That's all I have to say. Goodbye, farewell, and I'll be saying goodbye.